Hello and welcome to AMZ TV. Hi
Hey,
guys. And
hey.
I've got my friends here. I've got Anita. Hello Anita. And I've got my lovely friend Genea join us today. How are you, sister?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm good. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm so excited because today we have exciting topics as usual. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to ask Genea, how have you been coping with the lockdown? The
Mm-hmm.
lockdown and things just not, things not back to normal, or are they back to normal? What's your take on what's been going
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, this has forced me into a definite routine of self-care.
on?
It's just, it's overwhelming at points to watch the news,
Oh,
right? So I've had to back away
yeah,
from that and
yeah.
just this quarantine time has forced me to reemphasize, a self-care routine, whether that's adding lavender to my bathwater or some light
Nice.
baths or some journaling. I've just really been, uber focused on self-care because it's really easy with everything going on to get absolutely, overwhelmed and anxious. So I'm trying to maintain, but at points, some days are a little bit more challenging than others.
Definitely. That's just life.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody else that I know is so hooked on news, and I'm going to
Oh,
turn to her now.
Yeah.
How are you coping
No,
with
but
the
did you see
consumption of all news media?
listen, when she said she turned off the news, I was like, that was me because she knows me. I 24 hours, I am watching and working at the same time. Like I'm watching the news and I'm doing my work. I 24 hours of the day. Literally, when I start coughing, I think I have corona.
mm.
I have corona.
Oh
It was
no.
I was going through that whole thing, and I said to myself, I better turn this TV off because my kids got tired and like, Mom, you're fine, you're okay, nothing is wrong with you, you're fine, you know. So yeah, I turned the TV off. It was getting to me. It was really getting to me. I couldn't take it any longer. So
Well, and I totally get that, because the thing out there, you don't even know at this point what is real and what is not, what is made up, what is fake news. I mean, now everyone just throws out that word fake news. So now you're beginning to, I do not like to tag onto that, because there is real news out there, and coronavirus is real. It's not fake news. Okay.
yes,
Mhm.
So it just frustrates me when people in politics have just kind of hijacked this thing, and now it's like team sports. If some kind of news is coming from this camp, even though it's real, but because it's not from a certain camp, everyone just makes it like it's not real. And it's
Mhm.
really, it's scary. It's scary because out there now people are talking about there's going to be a second wave. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it is scary though. I mean, what
Mhm.
what what do you guys think about that?
Mhm. Well, as an educator, we're talking about right now reopening schools, which just really has me very concerned because in a lot of these new reopening plans, they are not implementing true social distancing. In some cases, masks are optional, like maybe they wear them in the hallway but not in the classrooms. It's just like, this is really something, and I question whether or not some people really recognize, the reality of this pandemic. I think it's become so that a lot of the decisions being made are just kind of hinged on that political piece, which is really unfortunate because I think that right now some districts is making a lot of decisions. So yeah, it's concerning. It really is concerning. At this point, I just feel like, you know what? I can only really take care of me and mine, you know? So that's kind of where I am with it.
Hmm. What about you, Anita? What are you thinking? You thinking there's going to be a second wave?
I feel like maybe we're already almost in the second wave because like most countries, even those that went down, if you look at the charts now, they are going back up. And so as they go back up, they readjust. They shut down some things, it goes back down. So I think people are beginning to learn how to deal with it. So it goes up, you shut down some things sometime, again, goes back down, you are stable for a while, then it goes back up. I don't know. I think we are already in a second wave, kind of. I hope it doesn't get worse than this. I mean, honestly, how bad can it become? I mean, we already at how many millions of people that have been sick already, people that have died. I don't know if we can take much more, honestly. It's too much. It's too much.
It is too much. It is too much. And at this time, I'm just trying to, like Genea says, just take care of you and yours, me and mine.
Yeah.
And just make sure that you can effect some kind of change around you, your immediate family. Hopefully that will spill into the community. And then, because it's just crazy. It's just crazy. People acting crazy, this whole mask thing, people not knowing if to put it on, or people talking about having rights. And I'm like, you have to be alive to have rights, okay? But people are, I don't know if it's just so much the mask. Yeah, you have to be alive to have rights. So my thing is, I don't know if it's just the mask thing or it's the anxiety, the fear. Because when people are afraid, they tend to lash out in fear. Because I have heard reports where people go into stores and they actually attacking staff that are asking them to put on the mask, and they're actually going on and attacking these people. And it's just crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Anyway, so that's what's in the news. That's old news. So what's new news? Okay, so the term entanglement means a totally different thing these days. So did y'all watch the Jada Will thing?
I saw it.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask Anita, what was your take on it? If you saw the round table, the red table talk?
Yes.
What did you think? Did you think it was? What did you get from it? Just tell me. Was it real to you? Was it contrived? Was it?
No, I think apparently they had already discussed it, right? That they knew what they were going to be doing, right? So it wasn't like anything revealing, it wasn't new to Smith, right? To Will Smith. It wasn't new to him. They've talked about this before. He knew this was coming up. So it wasn't really a surprise. I just think they wanted to put it out there so that people know, like it happened. But I still feel like Will, I think he still felt a little bit, I think his reaction was, I don't think I don't think he really liked the fact that she had an entanglement. You could see that even though he was trying to joke about it, but you could see that it still affected him a little bit, even when he was talking about it. So I'm not sure how accepting he is of that relationship that happened. I still think that they are still working through it. Like I think they're still talking through it and they're still working through it. They say they have, but I think they are still going through it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
what about you, Genea? What is your take on the interview, the red table talk between Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I think that they offer a real new world perspective on what marriage looks like. I think a lot of us tend to look at, marriage in regards to traditional values, right? When we think of our moms and dads and, what marriage used to look like. But I mean, every couple defines their own parameters, right? So it sounds like maybe this couple, 20 plus years in, perhaps their parameters are not so traditional. It sounds like, maybe at some points, perhaps they were, flexible with their entanglements, and allowed that piece in. I'm not really sure. I will say that I felt like they handled the interview part in a classy way. I mean, I really do. I thought it was handled in a classy way. I think that when August came out with his interview, I would imagine that there was maybe some embarrassment on their part, and they just really felt the need to try and come back out to offer, not that they owed it to anyone, but to offer some clarity and some explanation, But yeah, I thought they handled it, classy.
Yeah, I agree with the two of you. I mean, the truth of the matter is nobody's business but theirs. But I just want to speak to the interview, just like Anita said. I think Will looked hurt. I think he looked uncomfortable. I think, again, um, according to the interview, this is not new to them. It's something they have dealt with in the past. So they've grown from it. So it's just now coming out to the public. But I thought, for some reason, because I watched it, and then of course you can't help but see it in different places. I thought it came out contrived to me. Like okay, this is what I think. I think that Jada seemed very too smooth. Too smooth.
Okay.
Even coming up with the word entanglement. I thought it was just because, again, she knows it's going to be something that's going to just, hey, it's a catchphrase that's probably going to be making news way after, that interview.
Yeah.
And I thought Will was more, he played as much as he could, but his feelings still came through.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I thought so. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, because I thought his face, right? If you looked at his face, and for some reason I was focused on his face. I don't know.
Of course, everyone was like, okay, your wife.
In that interview, you could. I mean, I don't know. I thought I saw someone who was hurt. Really, he was hurt about because nobody knows, and I don't know what happened in their marriage. I don't know what made them to break up in the first. But
that's the story they're telling, though.
Yeah, what the story that's about. But you see when they said, "I never thought I was ever going to talk to you again." There was deep pain for someone to say to someone that they've lived with for 25 or 20 something years and say, "I was never ever going to speak to you again."
Is that the truth? I don't know. Again, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I'm just saying if something, again, I'm just thinking, if something were to happen and, your spouse and yourself come together and okay, we're going to come up with a story. What is going on? Because for a long time, it has been said that, like Genea said, there been entanglements and their parameters are probably not the traditional way people tend to look at things, even those that are also not traditional. But anyway, they're in the public eye. So is it possible they got caught and then it's now like, oops?
Oh, I like that. I like that perspective.
That's what I started thinking that, like, oops, we got to fix this. We have to get in front of this. This is running away from us. I mean, I even made a joke with a colleague of mine. I'm like, they should have made him sign an NDA. I was just being funny. But is it possible that could be Genea? It's true. Is it possible that, because at this point, yes, it's not our
Yeah.
don't care. Okay, but then it's what we do. People, they put it out there, so we're going to talk about it. So my thing is it possible that it was just a story they made up to check it? Like, hey, because she's like nobody. Because Alsina, I always call him Alsina, August. What he said was Will gave him permission.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're like, she now took that as an off, went on the offense and said, nobody can give anybody permission but me. So, and that's what changed my mind. I'm like, oh, okay. This is about trying to contain the story. Did he actually give permission? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Genea, you have this smile on your face. Tell me, sis, what are you thinking?
Well, I gotta tell you, my mind is full of different places.
What's wrong with your volume? Your volume went down.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I said my mind is going a couple of different places.
Huh.
One thought is, I said I felt like they handled things in a classy fashion with the interview, because that could have gotten real raggedy real fast. But I thought that, their connection within the interview seemed relatively authentic, right? Part of me thinks, this is Will and Jada. This is Will Smith. They did not have to come on and present this perspective to anyone. This is Will and Jada. They're so much larger than this. They did not have to give this any fuel. They could have just let it die down, right? So that was one school of thought. But then the other school of thought kind of co-signs with what you're saying, that, you know what, after August came out with his perspective, it does kind of paint them in a questionable light, right? And with that questionable light, it's like, maybe we should come out in front of this and clarify so that we don't look, crazy.
like what people are saying about us. Because they gave an interview, but they gave us what they thought we wanted to hear. I mean,
absolutely.
It was too smooth for me.
I have a comment though about what you said. He said they didn't have to. You know what? She had to, because she has a show that's based on telling the truth, right? She has a talk show that she does.
Yeah.
I mean, no, she had to, because at one point, because you're not expect people to come and tell you their truths and yours, she to people who were watching her show, the people who she was inviting to come and be on her show to be able to put her own truth out there. And they knew they had to do this. So she had to. I honestly think that Will was an unwilling participant. He was. She told him.
Okay.
If you look at him, he was not really comfortable. If you look at his whole demeanor and everything, the way look at his face. Honestly, he's an actor, okay? He can put on any face he wants. But if you look at his face, he wasn't really comfortable with the situation. He looked sad sometimes. So I think that she just said to him, listen, this is my time now. This is my show. I am successful doing my thing. And it's based on truth, right? And we have this thing out there that people are talking about. And I need to address it, or I'm going to begin to lose people who believe in me and my show. To address it, I have to do something to come up with my own truth. Now, what they said was really the truth or not, but I think they came to a consensus as to what, let's say something. This is what we are going to say. I think they did that, kind of worked on it. I'm not really sure if it's the full truth, like Amy was saying. Listen, and when she said nobody gives me permission but me, please,
that's the part where I started to like, what is going on here? And if you're just tuning in, this is AMZ TV, and we are in the segment, the chat, where we talk about everything and anything. And right now we're talking about the word entanglement. Does it mean the same thing to you since the Jada and Will Smith Red Table Talk? Now, if you're following me, you will see that I did a podcast. I talked about this in my podcast. And what I said was I had mixed feelings about it. And my mixed feelings are this. Is it possible that Will is feeling some kind of way? Because again, it's a double standard. If Will, because his wife is the one that is being called out, because entanglement and entanglement, she slept with another man. Okay, let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. Okay, and now he's having to face the world because it's now out that the world now knows she stepped out on him, right? But if it had been Will, would Will have been? Excuse me. Will the focus have been this much? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying if it wasn't Jada and it was Will, maybe Will slept with some girl and she came out and said, guess what? This is what happened between Will and I. Will there have been so much sensationalism about it? What do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So that's the part that annoys me. That's the part that, you know, like I'm thinking is a double standard. And is it possible that Will is feeling uncomfortable because to his male counterparts, you know, the men are going to be, oh my God, dog, ah, dang. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, oh, it's like when
Right.
we lost Anita. Anita, where are you? Come back to us. But she'll come back. So that's what I'm thinking, you know, like, okay, let me tell you why I'm saying this.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Please, go ahead.
I was going to say that I agree with you. It's a complete double standard. Especially what makes it worse is because he was a much younger man as well, right? But yes, there is definitely a double standard. But I in no way see this having been this big of a deal had it been Will. You know, but that's the way it works. I've always seen this as a double
standard. Because even though, I mean, to all intents and purposes, Will is not innocent.
Right.
He's had some younger person also, you know, I mean, come on.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I mean, it's been in the news, you know, I mean, even in the interview when he said, oh, I'm gonna get you. He's like, no, we've done each other, okay? I think we're covered on that end. Because he did too. He did. And he was with a younger girl. But because now, I know, because now, and I actually do remember someone, what happened to you, my friend?
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. But welcome back. So, so what I was saying that, you know, it's a double standard because, you know, it's Jada. The woman got caught. So all the men right now, because the double standard is other guys are making fun of Will.
Of him, yeah.
You know, a woman cheats. Any man who takes her back is a loser, is a weak man, is, you know, he's the focus of jokes and what have you. So that's why everyone is saying this. And in a point in question, or what am I don't know. Maybe my wine is getting to me.
Did you eat
I'm fine, girl. I'm a brandy girl. Wine is child's play.
I know.
Okay. The thing, the point I'm trying to make, just pardon here, is 50 Cent. 50 Cent is such an idiot, but anyway, we love him. I do. I love Power. Oh my God, that's my show. And so this is what 50 Cent did. He reached out to Will. Okay, listen to this, guys. He reached out to Will and said, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Oh God, why would she do that though?" You know, and Will was like, "Well, you know what? Things happen. She did herself. I did myself." And then he's like, "Yes." And then he's like, "Dude, wow, August blew out her back." And Will is like, "F you."
Oh my God.
But how do we all know this? Guess what 50 Cent did? He screenshot thing and posted it.
Oh.
See, that's another man doing another man dirty. See, because it's a woman, it's like, dude, you're not a dude. How could you take her back? They blew out her back. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I think that was just messy on 50 Cent. That's not
absolutely.
If you reach out to someone and then it's like, dude, oh, they must have, you know? And I just thought, really? On the same, the same 50 Cent, Carmelo Anthony with Lala. So Carmelo apparently had an affair, which, you know, he had a baby from that. Now that's a big deal.
Oh, wow.
It is, yeah. And now 50 Cent is like, oh, Lala, forget all that bullshit. Get back with your man. You know, he loves you. Do you all see what I'm saying here? So for Will, you're making fun of him for still being with his wife and saying, wow, that younger man just blew out her back. However, on the other hand, you're telling Lala that forgive your husband, even though a child came out of an affair. Come on, the dude loves you. What do you want? What do you guys think about that?
Complete confirmation that there is a glorious double standard that happens all of the time, you know? The whole 50 Cent thing, I tell you what, I've never been impressed with his character. He's a savvy businessman,
Yes.
but that's about all I can give him. He stays in the middle of questionable behavior.
Mm-hmm.
That's very poor taste. Very pour taste.
Very.
Yeah. I mean, again, I know we tend to say that men are not jealous of each other. Or let me not use the word. Let me just use envious. Let me not use the word jealous. Let me use the word envious of each other. But look at that. I mean, I think, it's you trying to prove that he's not all that. Oh, he's just like us. I mean, we all, he's not the man he claims to be, because we all love Will. Like we think he's what we say in Nigeria. We say he's
the man fine. Come on now.
Nobody's gonna say that about 50 Cent. Come on, who's gonna say he's a fine man? I mean,
sure.
He really is. I mean, he's the dude. He's the guy.
Dude.
Handsome. So this is your chance to bring him down and kind of show that he's not all that. I mean, that was just. Talk about questionable. I mean, that's pure betrayal. I would never. If that was me, he's out of my. I cross him out of my list as he's not a friend. He's not a friend.
I mean, what was the point of having the screenshot and then posting it on your Twitter?
He's not a friend. He's not a friend, because you knew what damage that was going to do to Will. You knew how that was going to go. You knew that. That was deliberate. It was very deliberate, and that's wickedness. I mean, I'll go back. I'll go as far as saying that that's really wicked. I mean, come on. Why would you do that?
You know what I just thought just now with what Anita just said about being envious? I mean, envious, jealousy, doesn't matter, tomato. Will has been a married man all these years. You can say the same thing for 50 Cents.
Yeah.
He's not been able to keep down any kind of relationship. So do you see how that, oh, wow, I didn't even think that. See, that's the thing men do. When a man steps out, which is the glorious double standard you said. Everyone is like, oh, he's a man, he has needs, take him back, whatever. But then when a woman steps out, the other man, even if the man wants to take her back, the other man do not let him take her back. Because, men see women as their property.
Yeah, it's that that men code thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost like a taboo situation.
Right.
Like,
right.
Man, you can't do that. What are you doing? You're messing up the code.
Right. It's crazy.
But I wonder. I really wonder what made Will go back. I mean, what made them come back together? Because I think at one point, because they both thought they were done. They both said, we thought it was all over, and I don't know. And I know you don't agree, Amy.
I don't know, but it's true. It's possible. Marriages have problems,
But somebody reached out. Somebody started a process to reach out. Somebody started to say maybe we could work this out, right? But it took someone reaching out to be able to convince the other person to come back to the table and have this discussion and be able to come back together as a married couple. So I'm just wondering who did that, out of curiosity. But it took someone reaching out to say, let's try it again. I mean, I know that we talked about non-traditional marriages and all of that. But honestly, when I look at them, it takes courage. I mean, that decision, like you said, Will coming back after, men are going to say, well, what the heck? What's wrong with you? She cheated on you. I mean, a younger man took you out. Come on. I mean,
look your back.
Back. Come on, what are you doing? But it takes courage. Just like, that people who work out on their marriage or leave their marriages, it takes courage. Anybody who thinks that's easy, they haven't been through it before. It takes courage to do that. And then to try to come back and pull that same marriage together, despite what people are saying, especially in this case where it's known that she stepped out, whatever. It takes courage. And I really want to recognize that whatever brought them back together, it wasn't easy. They walked through it. I mean, they went through it. It was something they had to walk through. And I really want to commend that, because it takes courage to do that, because anybody could do it. It takes people who have the strength to believe in what they had and the ability to be successful together and to be able to walk through it and be able to come back as a family. it takes courage. It's not anything that's for the faint of heart. Honestly, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's particularly challenging when you're a high power couple, right? That would be challenging for any of us, but when you are, you know, a Jada and Will, a Jay and Beyonce, whoever it is, if you're in a position where everybody knows you, I can't even imagine the additional stressors that, you know, come with that. My goodness, but I agree, courage completely. Yeah, and some real vulnerability there too. You know, you have to, if you're going to be honest in a situation like that, knowing that your business is out there and you still want to talk about it. Like I said, they could have chosen to totally, you know, pretend it didn't happen and not address it at all. But you're right. In Jada's, you know, given position, it would have only made sense for her to address it. But yeah.
Just like Wendy Williams.
Oh, Wendy, I love Wendy, please. I love
That
Wendy.
went on for years. Everybody knew. Everybody was talking about it. Lady will not give up.
Oh my goodness.
She's like Mrs. Carter. What's her name? Is it Carter or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we're fine in Hunterville. Oh, Hunter. We're fine in Hunterville.
Yeah.
Everyone and their mom was talking about it.
Yes.
And eventually, you know.
I think sometimes you have to finally accept it. Because for her, I mean, honestly, like I said, it takes courage to move. I mean, to break a relationship or break, it takes courage. And I don't think people realize how much courage it takes. So when people, because you're talking about, you know, losing your life and sometimes friendships and, you know, maybe sometimes your business, you know, when you have like business ventures together, it's not just the relationship, it's everything else that surrounds it, the children, the property, you know, what you own together, your joint businesses, you know, things that people don't maybe think about. It takes a lot. And for make that decision to separate, it takes courage. It does. So for her, it took her time to get there, but she did. She finally did. And she took
or maybe it's just easier to keep her. It's cheaper. Hey.
Yes, that's a song.
Yeah, it might just be that. You know, like, hey, look, we're in this together, okay? This is gonna cost me too much.
Yes.
See your ass there, girl. You ain't going nowhere.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Guys.
It's a crazy world. And but I have to ask this, because that's one of the questions I was asked in my email. Do you think they're going to survive this? Because this is out now, especially not so much the woman, because whatever, it's people going after Will. Oh, why would you? It's the guys, you know, just the guys thinking, dude, you make us all weak. Yeah, right. But do you think that they can survive this?
I think if the both see, I think there's a strength in making a decision together and sticking to it. If they are both really resolute, right, in that decision, saying that we are going to stick to it, and they're on the same page, and really at one point they're going to have to, like, you know, they're really going to have to cut people off. They're going to cut everyone else out, and they're going to just focus on themselves. They could survive it, you know. Again, it's not keeping friends like 50 cents, you know, just cutting those people life, people who are going to, you know, going to go and throw shade at you, and then go and expose, you know, your conversations.
That's crazy.
Out. And just, you know, you stay with the family and the friends who support you. Again, you surround yourself with people who believe in you, what you're doing, and your dream, and your success, and then you can do it. Cut everybody else out. They could make it.
Do you think so, Genea? What do you think?
Yes, I'm going to co-sign on that. I agree with you completely. It will take maybe having to, you know, take a look at that current friendship circle. You're right. There may be some people that need to leave the circle, right? But no, I think they can make it through this. You know, I think it'll be fine. I think Will be fine. He's a big boy. he's a little bruised right now emotionally, but I mean, geez, it happens to us all. His just happens to have happened in front of a lot. But I mean, I think he certainly has, you know, what it takes to bounce back from this. And honestly, with everything that they endure as a power couple, just period, to be able to make it through this and you know, be resolute and bounce back, I think that's glorious, you know. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. Just make sure you sign the NDA. Okay, I'm trying to be funny.
Let's be positive about our partners who we bring into this marriage.
Yeah,
The 3 songs.
moving ahead. Remember,
And you saw them when they come.
right. We had
They don't know who we are.
we had talked about this before in you know, in previous episodes. Like, there are times in a marriage, just like, you know, Genea had said, we all work within the parameters that we, you know, two people agree to. Okay, and there have been cases where people bring a third, fourth party of people to enhance and spice up their marriage. I'm just saying, if that's what it is, I mean, they won't be the first, they will not be the last. The thing is, just be sure, be careful who you bring to your circle. Now, having said this, there's a darker side of this. Again, I talked about in my podcast. And when just going by their story, okay, so it's not something I'm pulling up from any, I'm going by what Jada said. When they first met August, it was actually through their son, and he was, August was going through some mental issues, physical issues, dependency, and all that stuff. So I don't want to put this out. Well, you know, it's already out there. So my thing is, did they take advantage of him? Someone asked me that in my email, and I had to seriously think about it. You know, if you had someone who's thinking or whose behavior is being compromised, either mentally or psychologically, you know, because he was dependent on, he had an addiction, and then he had some other thing going on, you know. And then you have these two people. I mean, August is like 27 now, so I'm thinking it was like, and she said it was like 5 years ago, or 5 years ago, so it was like 22 or 23, a young man, and he's put in the care of these two folks who are at least 20 plus years older than him. So that's the dark side of this. That did they take advantage of him, though? If at all they're into that kind of lifestyle. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're not. So if it's just Jada. But the thing is, did they take advantage of him? Did she take advantage of him? How do you see what I'm saying? Well, what do you guys think? That's the dark side of this, because I had to look at it. Like 5 years ago, he wasn't 27. He was a young man seeking help and crying for help. And he got into a sexual relationship with a powerful, sexy, beautiful, rich woman like Jada, an older woman. Do you see what I'm saying? So do you guys, are you seeing what I'm trying to do? Are you thinking along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but then I think about the fact that 22 or 23, I mean, he's a grown man. I mean, I hear you.
He was also compromised, though.
Okay, I mean, but she said when they first met him, he was helping him with getting better and, you know, trying to help with his healing process. But, you know, because again, you know, the thing about being close contact with people, you know, is that you become, you know, there's a lot of interaction going on, right? And then, you know, something happens. It's not, I don't, honestly, when I look at Jada, I wouldn't think that she'll be the kind to take advantage, but I think that at 23 years old, August is a grown man. And, you know, and I'm sure, you know, when you see that kind of person paying attention to you as a young man, you know, you're going to, and maybe she knew, maybe because being close to the family, he knew something was already wrong with the marriage. He knew that, right? He knew that. And it's possible that like people say, maybe he knew Will was going to be okay with it. Who knows? But but I think it would have been something that he was willing to do. I don't even think that it would have taken advantage of him. But I think that when you're when you're with Jada and he and her being really trying to help out with his illness and taking care of him and all of that, you are going to be infatuated, right? She's a beautiful woman. She doesn't look like she's 20 years old, older than him. Like, so they look like they could be age mates. And I would think that he probably was, and he probably maybe made the first move. I don't know, but
the younger man, they're like older.
It's a young, and then you're thinking about the fact that she said at that point she was not happy in that relationship, and there's this young man who was giving
her attention.
Yeah, she's gonna take it. But I think I would think that the young man, I really wouldn't want to think about the fact that she would have done it when he was still sick, but maybe when he was getting better, and now he's beginning to see her for, like a beautiful woman that she is, then he probably would have, maybe made some advances towards her, knowing that maybe we will be okay with it. Who knows?
What do you think, Genea? So you think the young man made the advance towards this lovely woman in a difficult marriage or unhappy marriage, and he took advantage of her? Because that's where Anita is going with this.
I feel like when you take two people that are swirling, and it is a beautiful pot for what took place. I think Jada was functioning from a place of deficiency, being used to having lots of attention, right? She was having issues in her marriage. And then on the other side, you've got August, who's dealing with mental and emotional issues, some things having gone place, happened with his mother. So you've got that son-mother piece going in that was, deficient. So both of them came into this just, bridling with deficiencies, right? So I think, in a way you could almost say they took advantage of each other, right? Knowing full well where both of them were coming from. You can't tell me you think August was August thinking Jada would leave Will? I mean, come on, right? And at the same time, I just, it's not even about judging really, but both of them were clearly deficient in their choices. So I can't really say outright that Jada took advantage. I mean, both of them, I think, have blame here. I mean, they,
Yeah,
I don't think they were making sound decisions because they were both just in muddled water.
Right, they were both like kindred spirit, almost just reaching out for each other in pain.
Okay. Yeah, they were both looking for some things. You know what I mean? Right. And I think he needed to feel. Yeah, he needed to feel valued. She needed attention, and so in their deficient states, they were able to bring what the other one needed. That's how I feel about it.
Interesting.